Welcome, Doomers. How are you all tonight? Welcome to DoomTube, where we remind you that no matter how bad you think things are, they're worse. And I'm your host, the Doomer Boomer, because I've been at this since the 70s, and I could tell you more strange things than maybe you'd want to know, but I bet you'd want to know it all, right? So let's get started. I thought I'd talk tonight about this fog that everybody's been dealing with and talking about, and I know a lot of you have been dealing with this fog. A lot of people are calling it the death fog or the fog of death. And if you haven't dealt with it, good for you. I'm glad it has stayed out of your path, but it is being found across the United States. It's being found in Europe. And I'm going to start off by telling you my personal experience with it. And then I'll refer to a couple of articles here. I should say this. Some people asked, well, no, I'll hold that off for another time. Okay. A couple of weeks ago, it was just before Christmas, the week before Christmas. We drove down. We go down to Silver Dollar City, which is outside of Branson, Missouri. Which is, if you're not familiar with the area, it's in southern Missouri, just a little bit north of the Arkansas line. And we love it down there. But it was a bright, sunny day as we left the Kansas City area where we live. And about the time we got to Clinton, Missouri, which is on the very northwestern edge of what kind of the lake area of Missouri, and it's getting close to what you consider the Ozarks, I started seeing the sky to the south was covered in chemtrails. And I thought, well, okay, they're spraying the Ozarks again. It's amazing to me how often, and we go down there frequently, and how often they are spraying that Ozarks area. And I can't tell you how far down they're doing it. I don't know, but I'll tell you that clear from mid-Missouri to the Arkansas line, they are. I would imagine they're probably doing it down into Arkansas as well. Why would they stop at the state line, right? So by the time we got down there, things were starting to, you know how it is. You've seen the chemtrails, and it was starting to get a little bit hazy, right? And then by the time it was evening, it was covered. Well, we came back and we had a nice Christmas. And then a few days after Christmas, we went back down. We go down there a lot. And I saw the same thing. About the time I got to Clinton, Missouri, I saw the crosshatches of the chemtrails and all the way down to the Branson area, almost to Arkansas. Well, it started hazing up and hazing up and hazing up. But this time, by the time we left, and I'd say it was maybe 8 or 9 o'clock in the evening, we left into the most dense fog I can remember. And I thought, well, it makes sense. I mean, you know, it's the time of year, and it's high humidity, and it's right there on a huge lake, Table Rock Lake. And so you're going to find some. But we were in the hills of the Ozarks, up and down and up and down. When you're in that, you will usually, depending on, you know, as you go up and down in altitude and go down into gullies and up on hills, you'll be passing in and out of fog. Well, we didn't pass in and out of fog. We stayed in fog. And I tell you, there's nothing more fun than driving a curvy Ozark 2-lane highway in the fog. And so I thought, well, okay, as soon as we get through here, I'm sure it will dissipate. We got several hours to drive. And we got up north of Branson and up into headed up to Springfield, Missouri. But the fog didn't stop. And I said, well, as soon as we get out of here, away from the lakes, I'm sure we'll be fine. The fog, we stayed in fog. Let me put it that way. The fog was still with us all the way to Kansas City. I've never seen fog like that. And I mean, I've been around a while because I'm a boomer, right? I have never seen fog like that. And we made it all the way back home, you know, with our low beams on at about 40 to 50 miles an hour. It took us a long time. And the fog never stopped. Well, I got up the next morning and I could barely see across the street. because of fog. And I thought, what in the world? I mean, I guess the dew point's high or low or whatever. I'm not sure how that works. A high humidity, right? And I figured that, well, the sun will come out, it'll burn it off, it'll be all right. Well, it stayed hazy all day long, and the fog stayed on all day long. Now we're in a large metropolitan area, in a suburban area, and we don't get fog like that. We've never gotten fog like that. I said, well, this is weird, but I'm sure it'll pass. I got up the next day, it was still there. And it was just laying heavy. Oh, you could feel the heaviness of it. And it lasted through most of the third day, and then the fourth day, it was gone. And then I started getting sick. And I got sick. I had a fever. I had body aches. I had massive head congestion. I had chest congestion. I felt like I had the flu. I felt actually like I did. Well, I won't say like when I had COVID, because when I had COVID, I was just really tired. I didn't really feel that bad. But this was kind of a combination of the two. And when I have the flu, you'll feel tired, you'll feel achy and stuff like that, but you'll still have, at least me, I will have some energy. I didn't. I had what seemed like a combination of the flu and COVID. And that lasted 10 days. 10 days. And during that time, I started hearing about this fog that was descending across the United States. And I pulled up a couple of things to share with you all. Now, I'm not going to post links on this. And somebody has asked if I could include more information on certain things with this channel. I'll see how I feel about that, what I want to do about that. But here's something from InfoWars that I saved just to read you, and this is from December 31st. So that was just within a few days after we had our experience. It says a mystery illness causing fog documented by social media users. It's gotten to the point where we have to rely on each other, and that's what I'm hoping. If you all share your stories in the comments. Tell me where you are. Tell everybody else where you are. If you've experienced this, if you know friends or family who have heard about this, what do they think? There's a lot of things, and I'll get to some potentials here in just a minute. So here on InfoWars, and like I said, this is December 31st. I'll just read a little bit of the article. People worldwide are questioning why everyday fog appears to be inducing negative health effects, with many speculating the peculiar mists could be laden with chemicals. Well, exactly right. We know what the chemtrails are laden with, right? Barium and all sorts of other things. Aluminum, things that we shouldn't be breathing. I'll get back to a little bit of more of that in a minute. Social media users are suggesting exposure to Christmas time fog has been leading to sore throats, flu-like symptoms, headaches, lethargy, and more. Well, I had all of that. And I don't get sick that much. And I take a lot of, and usually I'll get sick maybe a little bit once a season as the season changes. But I take a lot of vitamin D, and I keep up on all that stuff that I should, okay? But I never get sick a second time till this time. So it goes on, it says, we've got people in Kentucky, we've got people in Sweden, we got people in Finland, all reporting the same thing. Now, if I thought, well, this is Branson, Missouri, okay, maybe an anomaly, right? No. Kentucky, Sweden, Finland, all reporting the same thing. The fog has made them sick, one man claimed on TikTok. Now, here's something very interesting, too, and I covered this on another channel. Why are they wanting to ban TikTok? When I was talking to my son, and I won't go into the politics here, but this last election, a lot of younger people were being turned on to the political process by TikTok. And my 18-year-old, who's very, very smart, he and I will talk about politics a lot. Now, I'm very conservative, and and you might imagine that he would end up kind of like that, but not all kids follow their parents' road. And he would be telling me a lot more than I had explained about politics, about conspiracies, about conspiracy theories. By the way, I just asked Kelly. I was reminded. I was watching an interview. Joe Rogan, who I don't normally watch, interviewing Mel. What's his name? Mel the Gibson, right? Have you all seen that movie of his that he made way back when called Conspiracy Theory? I mentioned to Kelly, and she said, "Oh, we ought to watch that again." I think we will. You might, if you haven't seen it, you might want to watch that. But anyway, my son said, yeah, all of his friends are conservative, and he knew so much about the underpinnings of society, about the different conspiracies, about the truth behind the man behind the curtain, as it were, and about politics. It astounded me, and I asked him, where in the world did you learn this? I didn't tell you all this. And he said, TikTok. TikTok, you know how they tried to scare us away with, we're going to ban TikTok because it's a Chinese spy program, right? Right? Unlike all their spy programs, right? Unlike whatever, Facebook and everything else that scoops up all of our information. No, for some reason, TikTok, they're after TikTok. TikTok is actually, and I told a story. I used to be against TikTok myself because I heard all this stuff about it, right? Except a guy in our group who was a quite the patriot, veteran and everything, he would send stuff from TikTok. I never would open them. Until one day I thought, okay, the title of it intrigued me, and I said, I'll open it. And I said, man, and I saw something, and I said, that is the truth. That is the truth. I had always heard that TikTok was this horrible, horrible thing, but great truths are coming out of TikTok. And an entire younger generation has had their eyes opened by TikTok. Why do you think our government wants to ban it? Same reason that the Soviets wanted to ban Radio Free Europe, right? Could it be because it is trading in the truth? Now, I'm not saying that they're not picking up a bunch of information, but I'm saying that it's something to consider, and I'll be happy to hear your comments on that as well. So I'll continue this for just a second. It says, after the issue gained traction, many others have come forward questioning why fog just seems weirder, with some describing it as chemical or dry rather than comprised of water particles. Well, that's right. When you have a fog and then you see it on your vehicle, and then when it's gone, right? Because it evaporates. Not this fog. It's leaving a dry powder. One woman, I think it was in Texas, showed that in her swimming pool, that after it was over, there were these great clumps of plastic-like clumps like styrofoam floating around in her pool. Never had that before the fog. You can go find this at, just go to InfoWars, and this was put up. And I haven't, somebody suggested I put in a Patreon channel to go with this. That's the way I do my other channels, that when I talk about something, then I'm able to, when I put the video up over there, then I will put the links to it. And then a lot of other weird stuff too over there for those who want to join, you don't have to, but that might be a way I'll do it. We'll see. I don't like to clutter the information box there with a whole lot of links and things like that. And I probably will ask Um, it's always kind of been my policy not to allow links in the comments, and I think I'm going to stick with that. Okay. No links in the comments. I'll take it off. I'll put up a filter so it won't allow links. So was saying that, make sure that when you leave a comment, that pay attention to your punctuation, because I've had so many good comments when I go back on other channels and I review things, comments that I hadn't seen, hadn't responded because I hadn't seen them, and I say, well, they were great comments, but they put the period in the wrong place, and so the filter thought it was a website. Okay, they thought it was a link. So be very careful with that. Also, if you're linking, since this is a new channel, no arguing, no profanity, nothing like that. This is for thinking people to come on, share their views, share their experiences, ask their questions, and maybe somebody else will answer in there. So you can go find, since I don't have anything hooked up yet on that regarding that, haven't decided whether I'll do that or not. You can go to InfoWars and you can find it. The article doesn't have an author on here, but it was from December 31st, and the title is "Mystery Illness Causing Fog Documented by Social Media Users." Now, maybe I should leave that up so you can continue to see the other side of my face. What's the concern on this? Well, we know that it's delivering something to us, right? I know that a lot of us have been concerned in the past that since they weren't able to get all of us to inject things in our body that we didn't want to, they have to find another way to do it. They're doing it by injecting our food. First started with plants, and now they're injecting the pork supply and many cattle, right? But how can they be sure that everybody gets it if that's what this is? Well, we all have to breathe, don't we? And I won't say that I'm not a little bit concerned about this. I mean, we lived in it for several days. I got sick. My oldest son got sick too. The others didn't get it too bad, but who knows what the reasons might be for that. Is this really a delivery system for things they want in us? That is a concern of mine, and I imagine it's a concern of yours too. So I'll be interested on this. Feel free to leave your comments, your thoughts, your questions. If you know of another source, you won't be able to leave a link, but feel free to leave a description, such as go to such and such a place and you'll find an article by this. Okay, because this is for everybody to kind of share their experience and help each other on this. And I tell you, the government programs, I'll just say this at the end, because we'll be talking about these things more in the future. Don't ever believe. Well, let me back us up. You know what Ronald Reagan said. The closest thing to immortality is a government program, right? You know some of the programs the government has had. Do you believe that it stopped any of them? Neither do I. All right. You all have a good night. I'll look forward to reading your comments and thinking about them too. And remember, no matter how bad you think it is, it's worse. Good night.